letter that the 150 professors signed specifically said, we're not saying that Trump should or shouldn't be convicted. We're just saying that the case can go forward. Legally, it's okay. That the Constitution allows not just removal as a consequence for impeachment and conviction, but also disqualification from holding future office. And disqualification matters. They put it in there for a reason. It was important to them. So it would be odd if they structured impeachment in such a way that you could only go after someone who is already in office if removal is required, removability is required, because then anyone would be able to avoid disqualification simply by resigning before the Senate could take its final vote. There was a case in 1876 where a former official was impeached and tried, and the Senate considered the question and specifically voted that it was okay. They didn't have enough votes to convict because that required 2/3, and that's probably what's going to happen this time too. The Senate will proceed as though they can do this, but in the end, there won't be enough votes to convict. They'll say he didn't do it, and if he did do it, it wasn't that bad. And if it was that bad, he has a First Amendment right to do it. And if he doesn't have a First Amendment right to do it, it's bad to disqualify people. Well, they'll argue in the alternative. The First Amendment argument, they've been pressing that, Trump's defenders have been pressing that pretty hard, saying, well, he was just saying things. He has a First Amendment right to say things. I'm surprised that they've been pressing that argument as much as they have, because it's legally, it's very weak. First of all, and foremost, it doesn't apply. The First Amendment doesn't protect people from the consequences of their speech. There might be a First Amendment right to say these things and not be criminally prosecuted for it, but impeachment is not a criminal proceeding. Just like a politician who is nominated to be, say, Secretary of State might not get confirmed for that office because of statements that he or she made in the past. The Senate can also, by the same token, can also say this person should not be acquitted. And the First Amendment might protect the right to say it, but it doesn't protect their right to not be disqualified. They don't have any such right. There are no consequences to an impeachment followed by an acquittal. If there's no conviction, there is no consequence. So he would be totally free to run if he's acquitted, just like he was acquitted last time. It didn't affect his powers at all. And so, yeah, a failed impeachment would have no legal consequences. Polarization has made it easier to get that majority in the House at the same time that it's made it harder to get a conviction in the Senate. The House is now willing to go forward with impeachment even when it looks futile. So why go forward with it? I think there are three reasons. The first is they see something that they think is wrong. They see a power that they have to respond to that. And so they use it. Don't just stand there, do something. And I understand that impulse, but I don't agree with it, because a failed impeachment isn't doing anything. It's not really helping. So the first reason is don't just stand there and do something. The second reason is I think for some of them, it's hard for them to believe that the Republicans will vote to acquit. And so maybe they hold out hope that they can get a conviction. So maybe they don't think it's futile to go forward. And I understand that too, but I think, I mean, that's a little sad. I think they should have figured out by now how this is going to go. It seems pretty clear to everyone else. The third reason is even if you lose, you've made your case. You've brought out the evidence. You've had people paying attention in a way that they don't usually pay attention, hear the facts, and then say, you know what? If the Republicans want to vote to acquit, let them do that. Let them cast their votes and cast their lot with Donald Trump, and then reap the consequences of that. Force them to have to take Trump's side on this because they think, the Democrats think, the next time the election comes around, there are some voters in the middle that's going to really turn them off of the Republican Party. We might not convict Trump, but we will have weakened the political standing of the Republican Party. And to the extent that Republicans come out against Trump, dividing the party, well, that helps Democrats too.